Good morning and welcome to the MAP Talk on benchmarking income in Southern Arizona communities. We'll wait about one more minute for those that are just logging in to get settled, and then we'll begin. Again, welcome to the MAP Talk on benchmarking income in Southern Arizona communities. We're excited to have you here with us today. Today we'll be talking about different income measures in Southern Arizona and the key trends and insights that we see for those local communities in Southern Arizona. My name is Jennifer Pullen, and I am the MAP. Sorry, one moment here. My slideshow's not working. I am the MAP program coordinator and research economist in the Economic and Business Research Center. So a little bit of details about the talk. All the MAP talks are recorded, and we post them after the meeting on the MAP dashboard website. So if you're ever interested in a talk but can't attend the live webinar, then we encourage you to check them out on the website. Everybody will be muted, so the MAP Talk will be in conference mode today. Everybody will be muted. There will be a few minutes at the end to ask questions. We'll have about 5 minutes at the end to open up for a quick discussion or questions on the content that we look at today. Also, you can always email me. My email address is on this slide. It's jpullen@eller.arizona.edu. If you have a question during the presentation or a question after the presentation, please feel free to email me and I will respond in a timely manner. We would like to thank our sustaining sponsors that help to support the MAP dashboard. Those include Tucson Electric Power, the Thomas R. Brown Foundation, and Freeport-McMoRan. Additionally, we'd like to thank our partners. The MAP dashboard is a collaboration between the University of Arizona, the Economic and Business Research Center, the Pima Association of Governments, which represents local government in the area, the Southern Arizona Leadership Council, which represents local business in the community, and the Community Foundation for Southern Arizona, which represents the nonprofit community in Southern Arizona. So we'd like to thank all of our partners and our sponsors for helping make the MAP dashboard possible. I'd like to mention a few awards that we've won recently. We're very honored. The MAP team is very honored to have received these both local and national awards. We won a local award, the Common Ground Award from the Metropolitan Pima Alliance. We also were semifinalists for the Governor's Celebration of Innovation Award in Arizona. And the national awards we have won has been the Data Visualization Award from APTU, which is the Association of Public Data Users. And we won the website award from ABER, which is the Association of University Business Economic Research Centers. So we're very honored to have won those awards for the work that we're doing on the MAP dashboard for our community. I'd also like to mention that we have 2 features now in the Arizona Daily Star. On the last Sunday of each month, on the front page of the business section, we have a feature that highlights different economic indicators from the MAP dashboard, so I encourage you to check that out. And we also have a new feature that is being published the first Monday in the health section of the Arizona Daily Star that looks at different health indicators that we include on the MAP dashboard. We also like to tweet these out, so if you're not following us on social media yet, I encourage you to follow us on both Twitter and Facebook, and you can find these Arizona Daily Star features there as well. Now I'm going to switch over to the website. So give me just a moment here to switch my screens, and we will take a look at the Map Dashboard website. So now you should be seeing a view of the Map Dashboard homepage where we have our 6 categories listed across the top. And above that, you see a menu here, Newsroom, Library, Resources, Annual Report. We're going to spend a lot of time in the library today, and I'll show you how to get there. This is where you can find all of the Southern Arizona community articles that we'll be discussing today. Just below this mega menu, I'm going to just walk you through the homepage very quickly here in case you haven't had a chance to explore the website so you know how to navigate it. So we have a rotating slideshow that contains our feature articles that we write. We write 2 feature articles each month, and those highlight different topics in Southern Arizona that are relevant to our community. Down here, scroll down just a little bit. In the feature article slot, you can find the most recent feature article that we've published, and we're going to talk about this one today, Key Trends in Southern Arizona. How much has your community improved? Next to that, you can find an Explore Your County map. This is a great place to go and get kind of that top level county information, things like population growth, total population, poverty rates at the county level. And then down below, you'll see that we have an Ask a Researcher. If you're ever on the Ask a Researcher block here, if you're ever on the website and you have a question about the data that you're looking at, about maybe additional types of data sets that are related, you can submit a question to Ask a Researcher, and one of the researchers within the Economic and Business Research Center will respond to you within a day or 2. Down below that, subscribe for updates. This is you can subscribe for our monthly newsletter. This is a great way to stay up to date on Map Talks, on new articles that we've published, upcoming events that we have. The Worth Noting section is just a kind of a running tally of what's been updated recently on the Map Dashboard. And then our Twitter feed you can find next to that. Below, if you're interested in learning about sponsorship or becoming a sponsor, you can click on Join the Map Community, become a sponsor. We have several different levels of sponsorship. And then if you're interested in learning more about our partners, you can click on the partners link in the footer. But today we're going to talk about Southern Arizona and what the income and earnings measures look like and what the key insights and trends are for those Southern Arizona communities. So I'm going to go up to the library link, click on this, and this is going to take us to an archive of all of the feature articles that we've published on the Map Dashboard for the past 4 years. So you'll see the map launched for about 4 years ago. So you have every single article to date here in the library. We have them listed by category. So if you click on Southern Arizona Communities, you'll see that we've written 8 articles over those years. We have an annual snapshot that we write each year, where we're going to start in just a moment. We take down the previous snapshot because the data really is overlapping and you can't compare it. So each year you'll find a new snapshot article. And then in addition to that snapshot article, we do several in-depth features. The 2 that we've done so far this year is one on income and earnings, and then on key trends for Southern Arizona. So let's start here at the snapshot, and this is going to provide you a great place to go for some of that more top level information at the city, town, or place level in Southern Arizona. So we look at population. So this is the total population in 2016, the growth rate between 2000 and 2016, the median age, the 4-year college attainment rate. So this is those that are 25 years and older that have a bachelor's degree or better. Early education, this is the percentage of 3- and 4-year-olds that are attending an early education program in Arizona. Poverty rate, and then median household income. And these are listed alphabetically, so you have 2 tables here, starting with Ajo. At the bottom of each table, you're going to find the state and the U.S., so you can look back and benchmark how your community does to both the state and to the U.S. And then again, that second table is just in alphabetical order with Arizona and the U.S. listed at the bottom. If you scroll down a little bit more, we always include the population trend in our snapshot article. We're going to talk about population in a little bit in our trend article, but here every single year we're going to update this from 2000 until the current year of data. So here you can see Casa Grande, its population increased at 105% between 2000 and 2016, while the city of Tucson increased at 8.4%. All of our graphs are clickable. If you're interested in Ajo, you can click on Ajo. Of course, that one, sometimes, occasionally, we don't actually have data available because the margin of errors are too large. So if you ever click on a geography and you don't get a value for that, that is most likely what's going on there. But here I clicked on Oro Valley, and you can see Oro Valley increased at 43% during that time period. So all of our graphs are clickable. These grayed out geographies have information available. And if you click back on Ajo, my feeling here is that Ajo probably increased at a very small rate, right? So it actually declined at 0.2%. So while if we clicked off all of the other geographies, that bar for Ajo would become visible. So sometimes when we have really large values compared to small values, it is difficult to see those bars for those small values. So this is a great place to kind of go back to for grant writing. If you're ever needing information at the community level, you can get all of that statistical information here in these articles. And we update it. The new data will come out for 2017 in December, and this will be updated by early January on the MAP dashboard. So you'll have that 2017 data available for you in early January. Then now, if we go back to the library, we can go into the Incomes and Earnings Report article. And so here we're going to talk a lot about what income is, what earnings are, the differences between income and earnings, and what that means for our Southern Arizona communities. So in 2016, we saw a wide variation in both income and earnings across the Southern Arizona communities. And we're going to scroll down and take a look at that first graph. So what we've done in Figure 1 and Figure 1A and Figure 1B is we've ranked the geographies in Southern Arizona, and we look at 29 different geographies by median household income. So Marana in 2016 had the highest median household income of all of the Southern Arizona communities at just under $76,500, and then followed by Oro Valley here at $75,900, Wilcox down here at $44,000. Again, then Globe follows Wilcox, though you can notice the scale bar is different with our axes here ending at $90,000 and $45,000. So this is in ranked order with Marana at the top and South Tucson at the bottom at $20,241. So what we see for income measures is that there's a direct correlation in Southern Arizona between those with high levels of educational attainment. So if a community has a high percentage of those with a bachelor's degree or better, they also tend to have a very high median household income. That is the case for Marana, Oro Valley, Sarita, Maricopa, the city of Maricopa. We also see that in Southern Arizona, places like Morenci and Clifton, which have a very large mining presence, also have high levels of median household income. And as you'll see later, these communities have low levels of public assistance and poverty rates as well. And then we see, again, we see a direct correlation between some of our communities here at the bottom with the lowest levels of median household income having high poverty rates and high levels of SNAP assistance, which we'll see in just a few moments. So we'll kind of continue down here and now look at income distribution and point out a couple of the kind of key differences that we see from the U.S., Arizona, and the city of Tucson to maybe places that have really high levels in the higher income brackets, maybe have really high levels of households in the lower income brackets. So here you see the U.S., Arizona, and Tucson distribution. Again, I just want to mention all of our graphs are clickable. We'll click on and off these geographies, hover over these columns here in order to get the value, the percentage that you're interested in. So we see that the U.S. and Arizona, right around 7 to 7.5% here at the bottom, with the Tucson in the lowest income bracket and those earning less than income less than $10,000. Those with income less than $10,000 is a little bit higher, but Tucson does follow the U.S. and the state fairly. This is the city of Tucson, does follow the state and the U.S. fairly well with just high levels in the lower income brackets and then higher levels in the lower income brackets and lower levels in lower percentages of households in the higher income brackets compared to the U.S. and state. A couple of geographies here or communities here that are really interesting. One is Morenci. And so Morenci, if you're not familiar with Morenci, is a mining community, and a very high percentage of those living in Morenci work for Freeport-McMoRan, which has a large mining operation there. So what we see is that we have a large percentage of those in the higher income brackets compared to the U.S. and Arizona, especially in that 50 to 75,000, 75,000 to 100, and then 100 to 150,000 range. For other places like Oro Valley, we see a different distribution pattern here, where we see a large percentage of those over 100,000 plus compared to the state and the U.S., right? So in this 100 to 150,000, you have 13.5% in the U.S. that fall into that income bracket, 12.2% for the state, and almost 20% for Oro Valley. And then another geography where we see kind of as another skewed pattern is with South Tucson, where we have a very high percentage of households that fall into our lower income brackets relative to the U.S. and to the state. So I encourage you to go in here and to click on and off the geographies of the communities that you're interested in, those cities, towns, and census designated places, to learn more. And if you ever have questions or need insight about a particular community, you can send us an email through Ask a Researcher. So today I'm just going to point out some of the key highlights that we see for some of the communities within Southern Arizona. So we'll scroll down and we'll talk about earnings now. And it's worth mentioning that there is a difference between earnings and income. So earnings includes wages or salaries and net income only. So net income from self-employment, wages, or your salary. It does not include dividends, interest, rental income, Social Security, or transfer payments. Transfer payments would include things like unemployment, welfare, child support, alimony. So for what we see, for the most part, you would expect income to be higher than earnings, because income includes earnings plus all of those things I just mentioned: dividends, interest, rental income, Social Security. So we tend to see that our income measures are higher than our earnings. So this particular graph looks at the percentage of households with earnings. So this is just, are you reporting wages, salary, or income from your own business? So here you see the U.S. is at about 78%. The state of Arizona is just a tiny bit lower here at 75%. Clifton is our community with the highest percentage of reported earnings at 88%. Clifton is similar to Morenci. It has a large mining operation there. And we see that Green Valley is our lowest reported geography with earnings at 24.5%. That's not surprising given what we know about Green Valley. Green Valley has a very high median age. It's often referred to as a retirement community. There's a lot of individuals that live in that community that are retirees. So what we'll see later when we start to look at retirement income and Social Security payments is that Green Valley has a large percentage of those types of payments compared to earnings. And Tucson, the city of Tucson here at just under 77%. So a little bit higher than the state and just below the US. And keep scrolling down now, then we can look at Social Security. And so here, like we would expect with Green Valley, reports the highest percentage of those receiving Social Security at 85%. If you scroll down to Figure 5, which looks at retirement, again, Green Valley has the highest percentage of reported retirement income at 55%. And likewise, we see some of our communities like Clifton and Morenci, which have a really high percentage of those reporting earnings and also have a low median age, have a low reported rate of receiving Social Security benefits and receiving retirement income. Here, Morenci at 6%. So you can see the U.S. and the state of Arizona are very similar across the board. Many of these different indicators that we're looking at, 30.2% for the U.S. receiving Social Security benefits, 32% for Arizona. The city of Tucson, for the most part, follows a very similar pattern to the state and the U.S. And then a couple other geographies here that are worth noting. We have Bisbee at 48% receiving Social Security and Benson at 58%. And similar here, Benson has a high percentage of those receiving retirement income as well, as does Bisbee and Duncan. Now we'll scroll down a little bit and look at supplemental security income. And so supplemental security income is a federal income supplement program designed to help aged, blind, and disabled people. Here we see that, again, we have a 5.4% for the U.S., slightly lower for the state at 4.3%, and Tucson falling right kind of near the U.S. levels. Duncan has the highest reported rate of those receiving supplemental security income, as does South Tucson at both, right around 13%. And our geographies with low reported rates of supplemental security income include Florence, Green Valley, and Sarita. We'll scroll down here and look at SNAP assistance. And SNAP assistance is a supplemental nutritional assistance program. This is a federal program that offers nutritional assistance to eligible low-income individuals and families. So again, we see Green Valley with a high percentage of retirees has a very low rate of those receiving SNAP benefits. The U.S. and Arizona right around 13%, and South Tucson at 51.4%. So what we see is that there is a high correlation between communities that receive SNAP assistance and communities that have high levels of poverty. So South Tucson, when looking at the 29 Southern Arizona communities, has both the highest percentage of those receiving SNAP assistance and the highest percentage of those living in poverty. Similarly, we see that same thing for, we have Ely, let's see. We have a couple other really high geographies here, like Ely and Duncan with, not Duncan, but Ely with a high SNAP assistance rate, and Douglas with a high SNAP assistance rate, which also have some of the highest poverty rates in the Southern Arizona communities. And you can find that poverty rate on that Southern Arizona snapshot that we looked at. We also look at the overall trend in poverty in the Key Trends article that we just published this month, in which we're going to go there now and take a look at some of the key trends as we wrap up. And we'll look at the key trends for some of these measures that we've talked about today: income and poverty and educational attainment for the Southern Arizona communities. So if you want to go to that trends article, you just scroll back up to the top. You can click on your library link over here, click on your Southern Arizona communities link, and then that is the first article here we just published earlier this month. And you can see that we start out with population. And population growth, like income, is a key metric for a region's economic performance and well-being. It's something that we often look at to see how a community is doing, population coupled with income. And so here we see there's a wide variation in increases in population between 2000 and 2016, with, I'm going to click off a couple of these, the city of Maricopa having the largest population increase between 2000 and 2016 at 4,272%. Maricopa's population increase is so large that if we click on it, it basically swamps all of the other communities in Southern Arizona. Those of you who aren't familiar with the city of Maricopa, it resides in Pinal County, just south of Maricopa County, just south of the city of Phoenix and Chandler. It's very easy to get to the city of Phoenix and or to Chandler from the city of Maricopa. Likewise, it's easy to also get to Casa Grande. Another thing about the city of Maricopa, and part of the reason it seems such explosive growth, in part because of its access to both the Phoenix kind of metro urban area and Casa Grande, is that it has an abundance of new affordable homes. So city of Maricopa has seen that the most explosive growth in Southern Arizona. The U.S. at 13.2%, and the state at about 3 times the U.S.'s rate over the last 16 years. A couple of our communities have had losses in population during that time period, and that includes Bisbee, Morenci, which here has to do with a little bit of the curtailing of the mining operations during that time period. And then the city of Tucson was at 8.4%. So this is an important measure to consider when looking at overall well-being of a community, is, are you losing population, gaining population? And what are those kind of driving forces behind those population losses or gains? If we go down here real quickly here, and I want to make sure we leave a couple minutes at the end for questions, we can look at the trends for median household income, and we can see, like population, the city of Maricopa has had the fastest population growth here with income growth starting out at 30,000 in 2000 and now at 69,000 in 2016. The U.S., you can see, has grown a little bit faster than the state. That income growth is a little bit quicker. And then when we look at those with a bachelor's degree or better, we've seen a rapid increase in the city of Maricopa, as you would expect with those increasing population, increase in income from less than 1% in 2000 to 30.5% in 2009, and then down to 25% in 2016. There might be a little bit of sampling error there where this could be a little bit high for 2009. But, the U.S. and the state, if we click off some of these geographies here, you can see that the U.S. is increasing at a faster rate than the state is in terms of those with a bachelor's degree or better. That's a similar to what we're seeing within the Tucson metropolitan area. And the Tucson metropolitan area includes all of these geographies in Pima County, and Marana, Sarita, Ajo, all of those are included in those measures. And there have been a few of our geographies that we've actually seen a decline in educational attainment, and one of them is South Tucson at 3.7% in 2000 and 2.8% in 2016. Lastly, poverty rate we'll mention here. Poverty rate had the steepest decline in the city of Maricopa from 23.4% in 2000 to 8% in 2016. And then the city of Tucson has increased slightly, as has the state and the U.S. We have also seen Marana, which here has 6.2%, 5.9%, and 7.5%. They've had a little bit of an increase, but still a very, very low poverty rate relative to other communities in southern Arizona. And so that's all I have for today. I'm going to unmute everybody. So if you have any questions, please chime in. If you prefer to email me, you're always welcome to email me during the talk or after, and I can respond to you via email. So you guys are all unmuted now and should be able to ask questions. Are there any questions in general about the map dashboard? It doesn't have to be related to the topics that we discussed today, but about where to find different items on the map dashboard, or general questions about the indicators. Okay, well, I want to thank all of you for attending. Okay, so I have one question. So where do we have info by industry? So we don't have it at the community level, like at the city or town level, but we do have it at the metropolitan, state, and county level. And we have that in a couple places. So if we go to economy and we hover over the economy indicator, you'll see we have employment growth by industry. So you can click on this particular indicator, and our summary page will highlight kind of how the Tucson metropolitan area is doing relative to other metropolitan areas, how we're doing relative to the states, and then to the U.S. Oh, I think I need to show my screen. Sorry about that. Let me switch screens here. So I hovered over economy, I clicked on employment growth by industry, and now we are on the summary page. So this summary page is going to provide you with a highlight of employment growth by industry. But if you want all that detailed industry data, you can click on the comparison page. And each of our indicators has a comparison page with all of this disaggregated data for the metropolitan areas, for the states, and for the counties. You can go in here and you can click on the industry that you're interested in. So if you're interested in education and health services, you can click on that and you'll have all of that trend information for our counties, for our metropolitan areas, and for our states. So if you're interested in Tucson, you could click on, this is Tucson metropolitan areas, same as Pima County. You can click on Tucson. If you're interested in Cochise County, you can click on Cochise. You can compare Cochise to Coconina County, for example, if you'd like to. We also have, so we have employment growth by industry, GDP by industry, If you go into workforce and demographics, we have employment share by industry. So this looks at the distribution of industries across the different geographies. And we have occupational wages, and this is by occupation. So a little bit different concept than industry. It's now occupation, but if you go into the comparison page, we have 22 different occupations that we explore for those geographies. And in this case, we don't have county data. It's not available, but we do include all of the MSAs that are in Arizona. So not just Tucson and Phoenix, but we have Yuma, Sierra Vista, Prescott, Lake Havasu, and Flagstaff. So here you can click on, if you're interested in computer and mathematical occupations, you can click on that and you can compare across states and those different metropolitan areas. So great question. Thank you for that. So if there's no further questions, I'm going to end the webinar. I appreciate you attending today, and I look forward to any feedback that you might send me via email. Thanks. Bye-bye.